As always, we'll begin with the construction lines, getting my construction layer. Okay, move on to the object layer and start making these circles. Start from the inside, move our way out. The first one, the hole that goes all the way through, is 1.25 in diameter. And then the size of the cylinder that contains that hole is 2.5 in diameter. And next ring is the overall outer ring, and that is 8 inches in diameter. So that's it for our object lines. We have 2 more circles to draw, and they are hidden lines. So the first one you can see is the center line for all of these holes that are going to be drawn in the plate, and that is called a bolt circle. It's called that because it is the circle that contains the holes that the bolts go through. So these holes are bolt holes, and that is a bolt hole circle. So let's draw it. D, enter, 6.75. And then the outside one is an unusual center line. It shows the centers for the outer radius of the ribs and the hole that goes through that. So both of those share the same center, and this circle contains that center for all 3 ribs, and the circle's diameter is 9.25. All right, so we have all of the circles in place. Our next move is to draw the first rib. To do that, we're going to take this center line and we're going to offset it the thickness of the rib itself. The rib is 0.625 in thickness, or 5/8. So the offset distance is going to be half that, which is 5/16 in both directions. So 5/16 either way gets you your rib thickness. The next line I'm going to place is through the center line of the hole that there you can see right there, it's going right through this hole. I'm going to turn that into a construction line, and then I am going to offset that construction line a few times here. I'm going to offset it the radius of this hole, so I can draw this hole in the side view here with hidden lines. And I'm also going to offset it this radius of the outer arc that makes up this rib. So let's do the hole first. The hole is a 1/2 inch hole, so the offset is 1/4 inch in both directions. So there is that. And then the radius of the arc on the outside of that rib is 5/8, 0.625. Okay, so now we are in pretty good shape to draw this rib. Go to my object line and get to it. There it is. There is its outside. And we can now draw the hole that goes through it. There's one side and there's the other. All right, just about done here. Take note that all fillets and rounds are 0.125. The only thing that doesn't have fillets and rounds on it is the face and the back side of this. Those are the only 2 machined surfaces. All other surfaces are fresh out of the mold, and all these corners and edges on the molds are, we're gonna assume have an 1/8 inch radius. So we need to fillet these guys. So let's do that. I'm gonna turn off my construction line so it's pretty obvious what I'm doing. Zoom in a little bit and show you what I'm doing here. F, enter, R, enter, 0.125, enter. And we'll start on this side and go there. Hit the enter button up here. Hit the enter button there. And lastly, here. All right, looking good. Zoom out. So that rib is done. And we are ready to do the other two. We are going to use the array command to do that. So array is right here. Choose polar array. Select your objects with a closed box. Make sure you get all 9 pieces. Hit the enter button. Choose the center. And that's what it looks like with 6 of them. We don't need 6 of them. The default is 6. We're going to change that value right up here in the item number to, we're going to make that a 3. Hit the enter button afterward. And there you go. Give it a check mark. We've got our ribs. Okay. Next, we are going to make the bolt holes. And turn my construction lines back on. It is on this construction line right here that I'm going to make my first bolt hole. So right where that construction line, the horizontal construction line, intersects our bolt hole circle, I'm going to make that 5/8 or 5/16 radius hole. There it is. And I'm now going to draw the center line that goes with that as well. To do that, I'm going to offset this guy 0.2. So O, enter, 0.2, enter. And I didn't do 0.25 because that takes us to the hole's edge. And you know, I don't like my center lines touching the whole edge, touching any edges. So with a 0.2 offset, I can make a nice center line. There it is. And then delete that circle. So we got our nice center line hole. And to get that dash to show up, the LTS, there it is, you can see is 0.5. 0.5 on the line type scale. Okay, so I've got my hole in place and I am ready to array this guy. So same thing, polar array, select the circle and the center line, enter, click the middle of this whole thing, and look at that, the number 6 default actually worked out this time, so just give it the check mark. That's what we want, 6 of them, equally spaced. Perfect, so that is just perfect. This guy's looking pretty good. Got a little trimming to do. I'm going to hit TR, enter, get rid of these lines right here. And that guy. I do, of course, have my center lines and dimensions to do, and the cut line itself, which we'll do in a little bit when we go back to dimensioning. As far as the object is concerned, it is complete, and we will move on to the section view. Going back to my center line layer, or sorry, construction layer, I am going to create this circle in construction lines. So this guy right here, I'm going to bring him up because I'm going to need this point right here to make this object. In fact, I'm going to do all of that right now. I'm going to go to my horizontal construction lines. So X, L, enter, H, enter, and grab all this stuff. So from there up, click, click, I'm going to click all these guys. Make sure I've got every one of them construction lined. And just the 1/2, okay? Because we'll mirror the other half down. Yeah, that's looking good. I think we're good there. And now for the vertical construction lines, put one here and then start offsetting toward the left. So my offsets, the first one is 0.75. The next one is 2.5. And lastly, 2.75. And you can see all those values right here on the complete drawing. All right, let's make the body of this thing first. I'm going to go to my object layer and go up to here, cut across, come back down, and there it is. Next move is to make the rib, and the rib is made by making the circles first. So we'll make the hole and then the outer arc. So there's the center line for the hole, and you can just click on the other construction line that we already have there and do that again with the other one. So just click on those and you will have your arcs. I'm going to turn off, you know what, I take that back. To do this next move, I need to make a line segment from this point here, where this construction line intersects that object. And this is important. It needs to go tangent to these guys. So I'm definitely going to turn off my nearest snap. I should have done that before. And make sure my tangent snap is lighting up. And there it is. It's saying the word tangent. I can see it spelled out. It's giving me the icon, a circle and a line. So I'm going to click. Boom. All right. And now I'm going to turn off my construction lines just so I can see what's happening here and trim this stuff out a little better. I do need to put in this line right here that goes from the quadrant straight down. I need to do that one. And now I can trim this stuff out. So TR, enter, get rid of this stuff. There it is. Perfect. While I'm here, I'm going to do the fillets. So those fillets and rounds, those 1/8 inch fillets and rounds. I'm going to type F, enter, and it should remember that we were using a 0.125. Probably going to have to replace a lot of this stuff. Let's start off here, and we'll get this guy and do that one. Yep. And then we'll do this guy and that one. Yep. And you can see how quickly it wipes out those lines. Not a problem. We'll just put them right back. Put them right back. Okay. And then we'll do these corners. And that one. Perfect. And then we'll put the construction lines back on. Last thing I got to do is, well, I guess I got to acknowledge these holes. So let's do that. The big hole going through the middle, its edge is right here from there to there. And then the hole, these little holes right here, their edges, well, that's its center right there. So I need to offset this line, the diameter, or the radius, sorry, in both directions. And the holes themselves are 5/8, so we'll offset those 5/16. So O, enter, 5/16, enter. And take that center line and go up and then down. Okay. And then back to my line command, and we'll finish that off. There's that. Looking good. I think I'm ready to put in the hatch. So I'll turn off the construction lines, go to my hatch layer, my section line layer, and drop that hatch in. There it is. Check mark. Put those construction back on. And let's move forward with dimensioning and center lines and stuff. This is going pretty quick. So I'm going to hit the offset O, enter 0.25, start making all of my construction lines that I need to do all of my dimensions. And I think that's good for that side. For the hole here, I'm sorry, for the round, we got a few of these to put out. That should be enough. Excellent. Okay, going to my center line layer, make some center lines. Again, our LTS is 0.5. That's what's getting these dashes to show up the way they are. I'm going to do a little special work on this hole and round over here. Let me zoom in on that. I want that plus sign to show up nice, so that's going to take a little extra effort. So here's the kind of the default. The default would be something like this. And oops. That's close. It's not perfect. Turn my nearest snap on. That's going to help a lot. Let's get that guy going. And trying to get that dash right in the middle. So to do that, I'm going to grab this end and kind of drag it up a little bit and get that dash nicely centered. And the same thing on this line here. This vertical one is a little more complicated. So this one I really wanted to get close. So I wanted it to get close to this edge because not only is it showing that these two arcs have the same center, but it is also showing that their center lines up with the surface of this plate. So that is important. So that needs to be there. I'm going to grab the other side and start dragging it toward me. And let's see what happens as I do this, if I can get that dash closer to the center. So that's looking right on. So there it is. The dash is, we got a nice plus sign in the middle, and it's looking good. Yeah, so we're good. I'm going to zoom out now, see what we have. Okay. Time to put those dimensions on. Go to my you know what, let me do one last little bit to make this dash look nice. Check this out. I'm going to take just a line segment and grab kind of like here and just go to there. Look at that. So I've just extended it out by drawing on top of it. And that has done a nice job of extending it beyond the outer edge. So that's important. All right, so I'm ready to mirror this whole thing. M-I, enter, and grab all that stuff and mirror it about the center line. Awesome. Now we'll go to my dimension layer and start dimensioning this guy. Okay, so this corner to that is 0.75. That'll be our first one. And then we have the 2.5 dimension. And lastly, the overall height of this thing, the 2.75. Looking good. You have the diameter of this cylinder to place, and don't forget to do the M enter and put that diameter symbol right in front of it. There you go. Okay. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so I can get this, get these guys taken care of a little more closely. Right, so to do this outer arc, I'm going to go to radius. And Yeah, we'll put that, I want to be consistent, so we'll put that guy right there. It's about where I had it on the other one. And then we'll do the diameter of the hole. And there are 3 of these, so be sure you do M, enter, and do the 3x. It's just customary to indicate when you're doing multiple holes that, you know, that if there are more than one of them, that you indicate that there are and that they're all the same by saying the number and then the x. So there's 3 of them, or 3 by. All right, I think that guy is done. So let me zoom out a little bit and make sure I got a match. And it looks like I do. So that's looking at, oh, of course I left something out. The title, it is section BB. So definitely go to your text box and type that out, B-B, and make sure it is 0.125 in height. 0.125 is your text height. Hit the enter button afterward, check mark, and then move it where you want it if it's not already there. Center that up nicely, looking good, perfect. I'm going to copy that one over, CO enter, since we're on it, and move that over to here and use my note, use it as a note. So you can see I have a note, all fillets and rounds. So I'm going to double click on that, select it all, Control A, and type right over it, all fillets and rounds are equals 0.125, check mark. And if that isn't big enough, you can stretch it out if you want it to be just one line. It really doesn't matter. Cool. Okay. What have we got left here? On the main view, we have several circular dimensions and, of course, the cut lines to put in place. Let's zoom in a little bit on that. And we will do the all these circular dimensions. So I'm going to go to diameter dimension and get to it. Starting at the top here are 6 holes. We're going to say M, enter, and do the 6x space, and then arrow over to the end and hit the enter button, and then type out equally spaced, EQUALLY spaced, and justify that to the, if it isn't defaulting to it, to the left, middle left. Yeah, that's good. Place that ½ inch out. Yeah, that looks good. All right, next one. The outer ring here, 8 inches on the diameter. And then next we have the bolt hole circle. And after that, we'll do this center line, this circular center line that indicates the center line of the round on the ribs. There it is, 9 1/4. I'm also going to put the hole diameter here. Okay. Looks like we got all those in place. The next thing I wanted to mention is the thickness of the rib, and there are 3 of them, so we're going to say 3 by, and you can see my example right here. To do this, you are going to need to use the aligned dimensions. So I'm going to click on this guy and choose aligned, not linear. I know linear is our default, but to do this angle dimension, you're going to have to go to align. So I'm going to click on that guy and bring him out. And be sure, as always, you type, not as always, but in this case, M, enter, and do the 3x space check mark. So there's 3 of them. And you can put this dimension on either side. It really doesn't matter. If you want to move it, that's easy to do. Just click on it and drag that over to the other side. Your call, so long as it is ½ inch away. And I know I just kind of eyeballed that. If you want to make certain, you can offset this guy. Look at that, pretty darn close. I was a little off though. So let's get that on the money. There it is, exactly ½ inch away. Perfect. Yeah, cut lines. I think that's all that's left here. So the cut, well, actually, and the center lines of the circle, yeah. So let's do the center lines first. The main center lines. So the main center lines are going to go across this way and down from here. The one that goes down from here is no big deal. That's going to be pretty darn easy. I'm just going to go from the center and then down to there. But the one that goes across here is going to overlap. As you can see, it will overlap these guys, and I don't want to do that. So I need to get rid of the center lines in here. I also need to get rid of the center line that goes through this hole because I don't want it overlapping with the cut line. So to get rid of those center lines, normally I would just delete them, but there is an issue because this is an array. It's all one object now. So the center lines and the holes, and they're all combined. And if you click on any one of them and hit delete, the whole thing goes away. So you have to explode it in order to be able to delete any part of it. So EXP, and there it is, explode. And then you simply click on any one of its pieces and then hit the enter button. Boom, and now it's all bits and pieces. So I can click that center line and that one and hit delete, and and look at that, they're gone. And then this one right here, I'm just going to stretch out and drag it all the way across. Perfect. So now my large center lines are good. I'm ready to do my phantom line. And you know, I got a couple options here. I could do this direct, but it's going to make drawing my leader a little tricky. So check this out. I got an easy way to do this because it's an angled line, and you know, it is a little tricky. The easy thing to do is just to rotate it. So watch this. I'm going to go to my leader. I'm going to make the leader. All right. And be sure to hit the enter button afterward. And then I'm going to just mirror that. So MI enter. I'm going to mirror those two guys. Let me zoom in on that. I think I got a little issue here. I don't know what my little issue is. But I want to make sure that is straight. Okay. A little longer. And I'm going to mirror these guys. So MI enter, that's the first one, that's the second object. Hit the enter button, mirror it around the center axis. And then I'm going to rotate them. So RO enter, rotate, RO enter. Or you can use the rotate button right up here. And then you click the two objects on this side. And when you're done picking, you hit the enter button. And then it says, well, what is the center point that you're going to rotate them about? Well, that's the middle of this whole thing. So just click on the center. And now you see you can drag it around. You can rotate it around with your mouse and put it anywhere you want. But I know the angle. The angle is 30 degrees. So if I just type 30, 30, and then enter, voila, perfect. And that's nice because now the leader is perpendicular to that. And I know they're going right through the center, and it's just, that's the That's the way to do this thing. Okay, we're looking really good here. I'm going to turn off my construction lines and make this text box for the letter B. Big B here. Control it, Control A, grab that thing and make sure you change it to 0.25 text height. Enter, check mark. And I'm going to move that into place right there. Get it nice and centered on that leader. And then I'm going to copy it, CO, enter, to the other one. Put it right there, looking good. And now I'm going to check it against the solution and make sure I didn't leave anything out. I got a good feeling about it. I think that's it. That's it, folks.